All right. So apparently Tim's not paying any attention
I didn't
today.
hear any click, Daniel. I was promised a click, ladies and gentlemen, for the two of you listening right now. I was promised a click that was going to tell us when we went live that Daniel promised, but it actually didn't happen. Really, we're starting on time today. We're starting closer time than we normally do, but we're more jumbled together
Hey,
than we normally
no,
are.
I'm starting 3 hours early.
Yes, Daniel's actually starting 3 hours early, so he's way on top of things this morning for once.
I think it always said Eastern time, so
Yeah,
we're
Yeah,
not
but
go
yeah,
John,
but it's
we're
only
not starting
literally
early.
it's only 10 o'clock here, so I'm 3 hours early.
Yeah, but
oh,
you're
there
not
I go. I thought it
Eastern
was 9.
time. Like you can't say it's Eastern time and then change later and like be like, oh well, I'm starting early.
We let
It's
Daniel
fine.
think he does good things whenever, whatever, he needs it help a little bit. Anyway, Daniel is trying not to do too much talking today because Daniel is in a. Are you allowed to say where you are? That's not like any kind of
Yeah,
secret
no.
thing
Yeah,
behind.
I'm in
Okay.
Vegas
Yeah, Daniel
for
decided
Freedom
to,
Fest.
yeah, hop onto a plane. What 4 a.m. this morning?
Yep.
And just landed in Vegas about an hour ago. So he's in a public place of some sort with a lot of loud people. So the radio stream should definitely be getting an earful of that. But as I was saying before about us being jumbled together, I mean, normally anyway we ask for tweets. We really need tweets today. Um, and if you, especially if you can think of anything, any kind of a poll that we can have, especially something to do with gambling, Daniel's got on the mind. It'll probably come up a few times during today's show.
Yeah,
We have a few stories on that.
we
Um,
figured just for fun we'd ask if everybody else has an idea for a question. So let us know. See you
that's
here and there.
yeah. No. So John, how are you today? Daniel's off in Vegas enjoying himself, having tea at such an early time in the morning. But
It's
how are you
coffee,
doing?
but
Oh, coffee. Never mind. Daniel's going
Yeah, why
hard.
would he have tea?
I thought Daniel was trying to tone it down a little bit.
why? Where would you get that idea?
I don't know, Daniel. I'm just talking.
I know, tone it down.
Just
Has Daniel ever been one to
simmer
tone it
down,
down?
man. Simmer down.
Wait, what's that from?
I don't know. It's, I know it from something though. Simmer down.
Wow.
Okay.
How are you, John?
Wait. Yeah, I do want to know how John is, and then we can do some stories. We lost our viewer already. So.
He jumped off.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I was like okay until I started talking to you two, I guess.
You had a good day at work.
Ouch.
Um. Okay. I was having a good day, and I'm still having a good day because I'm not an asshole. But
Yeah. Oh yeah, Tim, you got the first chair today, and the Silk Toad is yours today.
yeah, he's right behind me. I'm the captain now, so I get to control everything. Uh, Genu Trust, we're supposed to plug them too. Daniel used them a lot. I can't say that I do, but he's told me a lot about them. I benefit from it. Um, we all kind of do a little bit of trading on there, so definitely check them out. Very good company.
Wallofcoins.com.
What?
Wallofcoins.com. Oh crap, sorry.
Yeah, check them out. Wallcoins.com. Use them. We like them. They're good businessmen. They sell it. How do they sell it? They I don't know. They're trustworthy. They're good. Check them out. And now let's go to some stories because also for the tweet notes over here, you have to tweet us at
Hell yeah.
YouMeAndBTC, hashtag YMBLive if you want to get on the show, or else even if you don't use the hashtag, we'll probably still read it. It just depends. So yeah, give us something to talk about besides just what we can think of between those three stupid heads.
Ouch. Again.
Ouch! Yeah, it was
Yeah, I don't
hard.
know. Questions, comments, haiku, whatever. We're up for anything.
I don't like haiku.
All right, Tim, if you have a story ready, just go for it. I want to talk about something.
So, okay. Um, the first thing I found, I mean, it kind of has to do with gambling too, actually. It's Pacquiao has just released a Vital Bet. It's a full sports book that it's with UltraPay. It now accepts Bitcoins for bets on a lot of different sports. It's for, I mean, including MMA, boxing, some of the more outside of the mainstream sports, but definitely bigger ones for betting on. Yeah, so that's cool. It was just more betting. What do you think on that, Daniel? Do you bet? I mean,
Yeah.
we made that one bet on boxing, but you don't normally watch fighting of any kind, do you?
No, no, that. I think I've only ever seen one boxing match on TV. It was like the first one on NBC in like probably like 20 years or something, or NBC primetime or whatever. So yeah, no, I don't really watch fighting, but can you repeat the main idea of that story one more
It's
time?
Vital Bet. It's a it's a company from Pacquiao, Manny Pacquiao. It's
Oh,
backed by his
interesting.
money. The boxer just fought Floyd Mayweather, who anyone doesn't know.
Wait, yeah.
He's
So
backing a sports book and an
okay,
online way of betting.
and it with Bitcoin, right?
Well, it accepts Bitcoin, yeah.
Dude, that's actually I think that's pretty cool. I mean,
Oh, right.
to have a big name like that running something related to Bitcoin.
Maybe. It also
Why?
says something about betting on the price. Oh, no, I was confused. Okay. It doesn't accept Bitcoin. They're now taking bets on various sports and then events such as politics and such as the price of Bitcoin.
Oh,
So I
that's
don't know how
even
that works
weirder.
though, but it's like
Yeah, that is.
if you just bet like $50, I think it's going to stay within, or I think it's going to be above whatever. But I
That
guess it's more
that's
statistical.
really weird. Here's the thing.
I
I
don't think
wouldn't do
that's
that.
weird at all. I think it's
Well, no, no.
ma-
Yeah,
funny.
I mean, yeah, yeah, like just interesting, original. I don't know. Well, not even original, but original for Bitcoin maybe. But here's the thing. I wouldn't do that, but I do think it's super cool that it's there and that somebody's just out there trying to be like, oh, let's just bet on this. Why not? I think that's awesome. I wouldn't do it, but and I don't know. What does that say? Does that mean it's actually a really bad idea because I love gambling so much, but I would never do this? Does that mean it must be a bad idea?
It might be
Or,
that, or it might be that you don't want to start muddying up Bitcoin for yourself to turn into just a purely money-making thing. Maybe
I
you want
like
to keep
that.
it, you want to
I like
separate it.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Definitely.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you bet on stuff like that, or do you do more like betting on like
Oh no, I've
card
just
games?
yeah,
Daniel's a card shark.
I like
Daniel's
poker.
Yeah, because I mean that's a
And
lot different. But
oh yeah, a lot different. Yeah, poker's my favorite, and then the boxing match here or there, or just one.
Can you get into casinos out there? How old do you have to be?
Probably not. I'm 21, or
Oh.
you're supposed. Yeah, I don't know. I have no clue how they check on that, or if
Okay.
like how much they check. All right, wait. So that's interesting. That was one gambling story, but then didn't John have one also, and then I had another one?
yeah, I do have
Yeah,
one.
that's what you guys said.
This is
Okay, weird.
Okay.
yeah. I guess I'll go for
Yeah,
mine.
yeah, yeah. Go.
This is from abcnews.go.com. I don't know what the .go is. Maybe this is a fake website. Seems legit. Seems legit to me. But anyways, I don't know why they'd make this story up. A hacker shut down 4 internet gambling sites, New Jersey gambling sites, I guess if you care, for half an hour. And he was threatening to shut down stuff more over this past holiday weekend, which was the 4th, in case you're listening later and want to know what was going on. Yeah, he was trying to shut down a bunch of sites unless they paid a Bitcoin ransom.
I'm muting myself because some announcer lady was trying to harass the public.
Thank you,
Uh,
thank you, Dan.
does it say what sites they were that got shut down
Uh,
or hacked?
no.
Just New Jersey Bitcoin sites?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
weird
and
that
it was a DDoS attack, and
okay.
sites were down for about a half an hour. And then
That
he
makes
said he was going to have a more powerful sustained attack 24 hours later unless he was paid in Bitcoin, this ransom.
that makes a little more sense because a DDoS attack is just like harassing someone and messing with them. If at first I thought that they had maybe actually like gained control of the servers and like shut it down, and I was like, well, if they did that, why didn't they just take the money?
Yeah,
Which they
yeah,
might have
no.
been able to
Yeah.
do. But yeah, DDoS makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I wish I knew which sites they were. I've worked with a lot of scamming sites.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything. I don't see any comments either. Oh, one other thing that's kind of funny. They just put in there Bitcoin is a virtual currency that in addition to its legitimate uses also has proven popular with online criminals.
Wow, was that was like part that was part of the actual story?
It was just like a sentence they had in there. They're like talking about this, and I guess it's like, in case you didn't know what Bitcoin was.
Oh man. Yeah, I think I told you guys about this, but I read the one page a month or two ago about like 15 things you probably do online that are illegal, and one of them was just use Bitcoin. And he's like, yeah, because you can only buy illegal stuff with Bitcoin because it hasn't been declared legal tender. Like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's funny. We were talking about that Dope movie, like it was gonna be good publicity. Maybe it's just gonna make these kind of stereotypes last even longer.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
that's
I
did
didn't even really think
yeah.
about that, but like people are already like, "Well, what? Do you buy drugs with that?" I'm like,
yeah.
"No, I buy like crap on Amazon. I buy
Isn't that
like
all the movie's about, right? Is kids being able to sell drugs from online. So now you're going to get a bunch of kids trying to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's about.
I can make $100.
But that does bring us to another story about the movie and about movietickets.com. Apparently, he says that the CEO says that accepting Bitcoin has boosted sales and visibility. So apparently, it went really well. Even though I couldn't get in there and buy a ticket and go see it, apparently other people did. I'm not insane, I guess. Uh, with the movie tickets was well positioned to expand its payment options to include Bitcoin at the request of Open Road Films, the U.S. distributor for independent film Dope, when its creative team sought to use digital currency as a promotional tool. And this is a quote from the CEO. What's his name? Joel Joel Cohen. I was surprised how well it was embraced and kind of presented in a very positive light. We really got visibility into new audiences. So actually, I guess he's saying that in the movie, he says it was presented in a positive light. That's actually really interesting. So maybe I got to see it. I don't know.
yeah.
The most mainstream merchant to begin accepting Bitcoin for some time. Oh, education hurdles. This is exactly what we're talking about. Like a lot of people just aren't educated about it, and they just think it's all messed up. Well, I guess not quite. I guess he's talking specifically about using it. the steep education process movie tickets had to engage in with its theater chain partners, who ultimately dictate how its consumers can pay at checkout. Okay, so it's not about educating what Bitcoin is, it's like literally how to use and accept Bitcoin. That's interesting. It's just like anything else, we need to see people adopt it as generally accepted. That's kind of a weird way to put that sentence, but it makes sense, I guess. Anyway, Tim, are we going to see that, and or John? I want to see it still.
Is it
Every
still in
time you're like-
theaters?
I'm not sure. I don't know. But every time Tim's like, I can't go that late.
Yeah, I mean, normally I have to work in the morning. Okay, fine. Yeah, John, well, I don't even see that it's running anymore. Probably because it was bad, even though Daniel tried to get us to go. But
I thought it was supposed to be good.
I don't know.
Some art house movie or something.
Yeah, it was. It did well at the film festival. Kind of like.
Did well at a film festival, Daniel.
Is it technically independent, or just like low budget? Oh yeah, it does say independent film. Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, you know.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we will let people know if I ever get around to seeing it, which I really want to. So if I do,
We'll pirate it when it comes out, Daniel.
that's a good idea. Well, weren't we talking about some? Oh yeah, we'll pay. I gotta love that.
What is that?
Some like cart thing driving around.
Some cart thing.
All right. Oh, I think it quit. Cool. Anything on dope? Or Tim, you want to mention? The landing page? Tell people to tweet us. And
Yeah,
do
sure.
another story.
While you have the droney in the background. Again, anyone, please, if you're listening, please tweet us. Please tweet us any comments, anything you have to say about the show, any questions, anything you think we should put in a poll, really anything. Tweet us an article that you want us to talk about. And
I muted myself there for a bit, but I just wanted to let you know I did laugh at that when you said please.
I heard you a little bit too.
Okay. I just didn't want you to feel like I didn't appreciate your.
It's good. Okay, and I guess we'll jump into this. We were talking about this right before the show, but the New York Stock Exchange has gone down after a major technical glitch. They've halted trading. This article is from the Washington Post this morning or today at 1 p.m. So Wednesday morning they halted all the trades. You mentioned this to us, right, Daniel? It wasn't you, John?
Yeah, what the heck? I was going to tell this story. No, it's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Come on, Tim.
Sorry, man.
You little git.
Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty big when you have a few out, or when you have probably it's the biggest exchange, and that just goes down. And it's what they call a glitch, because the U.S. officials and the Homeland Security is telling everyone that there isn't a cyber attack. And this comes along with who else went down? The big company, right?
Sorry. Yeah, I was looking for my unmute button. Yeah, actually, the New York Stock Exchange is still down, which is crazy.
Stopped trading around 11:32 a.m.
Yeah, and the United Airlines the entire fleet was grounded for 3 hours because of some weird computer bug. And the third one was Wall Street Journal, WSJ.com went down. I don't know if it still is or what, but somebody tweeted I guess I picked the worst day to take a United flight to the New York Stock Exchange to do a story on WSJ.com. So yeah, I don't know if they have to warn us that, or if they have to inform us that it wasn't a cyber attack. You never know.
I won't do that again. That was loud.
Yeah, you and that terrible mic.
It's fine. It's not as bad as you sitting in a coffee shop
You know what?
in
That is
a city of sin.
inappropriate. So was that all you had for that one, Tim? The New York Stock Exchange?
No, it's just down. We're not looking good. You're dropping the ball. We're getting hacked.
This is a tweet from NYSE. The issue we are experiencing is an internal technical issue and is not the result of a cyber breach. Although Chinese, the stock exchange is down too. I'm not sure if that's a glitch or if it has something to do with the crash or something.
Something's happening with the Chinese economy too right now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
exactly.
that's what I was texting you before. I'm like, everything looks kind of bad.
Wait, what did you text me?
No, I didn't text you any article. I was just talking about it because I was going through our Bitcoin and someone was making the point about it not being like Greece wasn't the big thing.
Yeah,
it was how China was starting to.
You said something about a Reddit commenter, but I had
That was different.
There was no content. Oh.
Yeah, that was
Are
completely
you
different.
sure?
Yep.
What are you talking? You never talked to me about China.
No, not specifically about China. Just in general.
Oh, I forgot how bad traditional economies look. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, because apparently China's going through something real bad too, right after Greece.
Yeah. It's a huge correction.
I mean, I guess it's been happening for a while anyway, but
yeah. NYSE listed securities continue to trade unaffected on other market centers. So yeah, if they're listed on multiple exchanges, then they're still trading, which I guess is good. This will not cause a move in any particular direction, so I would kind of wait it out and see what happens. That doesn't even make sense. You said it's not going to move, so you should wait and see what happens. Like,
just keep it there. Just keep it there.
That was the UBS director of floor operations at the exchange.
Yeah, definitely listen to him.
Resolving glitches usually happens within the hours, but it's now been pushing, 2 hours? So, anyway, where the heck did he go?
Me? I'm back.
All right. I'm guessing that covers the New York Stock Exchange. If you have anything, John, I'm probably going to turn it over to you because I still don't want to talk very much.
You can put it in the chat, Daniel.
That's true. I will put some links in the chat, but if you have one already, go for it.
Yeah, I have one. So this is a CoinDesk article, and it says that these unknown hackers found they stole a bunch of files from an Italy-based spyware firm called Hacking Team. I didn't even really know there were spyware firms that make spyware, but apparently,
I
hacking.
read that at some point, and I was thinking the same thing. It's like a company
that makes spyware. Yeah, so I guess apparently Hacking Team is kind of like people know who they are or have heard of them. They've got a few computer monitoring programs that can actually watch cryptocurrency transactions, so Bitcoin, and they also named Litecoin specifically for whatever reason. I mean, yeah, but Yeah, and it says that they have it so that they have versions of it that can run on OS X, Linux, or Windows systems. So it's like across the board, and I mean you can obviously spy on a lot of other things too, but I guess the unique thing about this is that you can watch people's transactions. And I guess it's worth noting that Hacking Team is apparently they have like they sell stuff to, or they count among their clientele a bunch of governments, including United States agencies,
Oh,
uh,
great.
and like some government agencies in Saudi Arabia and Azerbaijan. I think that's how you say that, right?
Azerbaijan, maybe.
Anyway, Turkey, Sudan, and other places. But yeah, like the FBI, the Department of Defense, and the DEA, all I guess have had deals or done things with Hacking Team. Yeah, so
Dang.
that's kind of scary.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. It's an interesting
Oh, I guess I
idea.
should say that an employee, I guess it's a Hacking Team employee, because it doesn't really say an employee of what, but I guess on Twitter, he was denouncing the hack, and oh no, I think this is a guy from Hacking Team is denouncing the people that broke into Hacking Team and released all this information about what they were doing. I think that's who he's denouncing. It's kind of hard to tell from the way the article's written, but um, I guess he says that they're lying when they say that the firm is working with law enforcement officials, but the guy's Twitter account got deleted later. So it's all kind of weird.
Right. Yeah, that's a little hard to follow. But I would ask about. Well, I guess I would just say it's interesting the idea of tracking transactions because they're already public in a way, but I guess what they can do is they can see which ones are specifically yours. But even then, that's they won't really know where they're going or where they're coming from. So, I'm sure they could analyze things, and I'm not saying it would keep you safe, but it would be another hurdle for them to overcome. It would be figuring out the other end of all your transactions.
Well, I think that, like, I guess where I see there being a use for this is that if you suspect somebody of doing something that you don't like and you watch their transactions, like, it's going to be a lot easier to be sure that you can catch them. You know what I mean? Because, like, say,
Yeah.
or we've talked about before how, like, you they could find a transaction that goes to this one public address that they happen to know is like some illegal address, like they know whose
Right,
address that is,
right.
but they can't trace it. They can trace it back to this other address, but they don't know who sent it. And there's even like, well, what were we talking about before, where we were talking about with like the in-person exchange of private keys or whatever, so that's a different thing.
Yeah, right.
But I guess there's like always some kind of plausible deniability unless they can actually like see that it was your computer that sent this transaction.
Right. I think I get that. Are you saying though that the spyware is a good thing then that should be used?
No, 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 no. I'm just
Okay.
saying it's useful to them, because
Okay.
I guess that's
Okay.
what I
No,
thought
yep.
you were saying, is you don't see how it would be that helpful to somebody.
Okay. Yep. No, I think that makes sense. So yeah, if there is an all right, never mind then. If there is if you know a bad address, and then if you're tracking somebody and you see that they send to that bad address, then you do know both ends of the transaction, and
Yeah.
and then you can take action. Which, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I know I read that story. I have no idea when or where though. It was probably at like 3:30 this morning when I was still like whatever I was doing. I didn't even sleep last night. I just slept on the plane, which I did not even mean to do. I was supposed to do editing, but I just slept the entire way. So, cool. Anything else on that one? I want to go to this one is pretty quick and pretty simple. Somebody got a message from Uber support, like probably an email, and it says they are already in the process of integrating with Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool. I might honestly I might be taking a Lyft once I get out of here. I might be walking. It's like 3 miles, so I don't know. But I love Uber. I've used it once before, and I really want to try Lyft now. And I don't know if Lyft accepts Bitcoin, but apparently Uber's in the process of making it happen, so that's cool. Because I would so much rather spend Bitcoin, as we've talked about fairly recently. I want to spend it. So, all right, Tim, you wanted to grab that one, the first one I linked,
Yeah.
the other gambling one.
Yeah, I will get that because this is a story very close to Daniel Mine's collective gambling hearts. Because the Bitcoin poker boss of the site Seals with Clubs
Wait, did you just admit to having a gambling heart?
Yeah. I just have like a vice heart in general, Daniel. I kind of just enjoy it. But
I wouldn't have expected that from you because you always harass me for having a gambling heart.
yeah, I do it to take away any kind of blame that I can have on myself. You hate what you see in yourself and other people, but
That's true. It's very true.
It's Brian McCone who set that wonderful site up for all of us, and who was forced to shut it down. I don't know how many years ago, or not how many years ago, how many months ago, when Seals with Club did eventually go down. But he's been taken down by those heroes in the Nevada Gaming Commission who are doing all they can to stop any kind of unlicensed gambling, because we know that hurts people, everybody. Brian McCone, he's avoided, by pleading guilty, he's avoiding a 10-year maximum sentence in prison, but he will have to pay a $25,000 fine and serve a probationary term. If he completes his probation, he's going to get he'll be able to plead guilty to one gross misdemeanor count of conspiracy for running an unlicensed gambling site, and all the stuff that was taken from his house during the raid is going to be given up. Which includes $900 in cash, some 3 bitcoins, and various electronic equipment. So he's a good time.
I, as far as I know, well, first of all, for some backstory, as soon as Seals with Clubs was shut down, he just immediately created SWC Poker. Like, it was the same thing, just in a different country. It's like, oh, you can't do that. Oh yeah, sure, you can do that. Like, it's insane. But, oh crap. Go kill yourself.
If anyone asks you to check this bag other than your own, do not accept it.
Yeah, don't accept bags from other people.
If there was a bag sitting out to call the police, it must be a bomb. Oh my
Oh,
goodness, it's on a tape! There's a bag!
Oh yeah, I ride the bus all the time, and there's
If you
this
see something, say something.
there's this poster on the bus that I ride all the time, and it's just like a bunch of people walking carrying like suitcases, and they're all like blurry, and it's like, see something suspicious, and it like has a number to call. I'm like,
Oh,
man,
God.
this is fear mongering, and like,
They
man.
They stopped me and unpacked my whole suitcase to find out what my microphone was, because they saw it on the X-ray, and they're like, "What is that?"
Say it was a microphone.
Yeah, my big one, the RE20.
My
Yeah.
big one. That's the
But
big
anyway,
hint in there.
I was.
Yeah, and you
What was I
said it
talking
was,
about?
and they didn't believe you.
Well, yeah, they like. Well, first they didn't even ask me anything. They just started looking through it, and I guess she couldn't find it, so she showed me the picture, and she's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's my
I can't even
microphone."
do
So
my
then,
job correctly. Please show me, sir. Where's the bomb? Where's the explosive devices?
Oh, and I had a knife too. I had to throw that away. Oops. Uh, yeah, they stole both my bags. Um, no, I was in the middle of something, wasn't I? I was talking about
Yeah, whenever he went and set
oh
up as
SWC. Yeah. So it was hilarious enough in the first place that he just switched and everything was fine. But as far as I know, that's going to continue being the case, even though he's now pled guilty. He's just going to keep running SWC from a different country and whatever. Like literally nothing changes other than they find him and
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, see, here's the thing. I'm sure his probation would specify that, like, oh, you can't do any illegal stuff. But if it's from a different country, it's probably not technically illegal. So, so yeah, I don't know. It's weird. We are, we're kind of flying through these today. I don't know. We're all kind of distracted by the different setups, so it's hard to get into our long, like 45-minute discussions about the
mean,
difference between a Bitcoin and a bit.
Is that a thing that we've had?
No, it's not, but probably equally pointless discussion.
Oh, speaking of that, Daniel, you need to remind me about bits later.
Speaking of pointless,
Remind you about bits. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious. Is it not something you can share right now?
Yeah, no. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. All right, John, actually, the last one I linked is kind of for you because it's a quote.
Oh, yeah, I did already found this one, actually.
Okay. Yeah, it's a quote from Antonopoulos. He says,
Yeah.
Bitcoin is not smooth jazz, it's punk rock because it is not controllable, not centralized, and it's disruptive. But here's my question, John. Isn't jazz supposed to be like also not really controlled? It's like
Jazz is, I feel like, actually less controllable than punk rock. I mean, Tim listens
that's
to
what I meant.
pop punk.
just over and over and over and over again.
Yeah,
You know?
Tim listens to pop punk, so he
Here you
knows
go,
what it's all. He knows what it's all about. Yeah, yeah. I feel like jazz would have been a better thing. I guess he's speaking to people who maybe don't know, and I don't know whether he knows better, but most people would probably assume. But
That's
yeah,
true. He's definitely the techie type, not the music type.
yeah, jazz is probably more legit than punk rock in a lot of ways.
Well, did you read any more of that article? Because I didn't really. I don't know what all he's saying.
I mean,
I only read like the first couple paragraphs.
he's just talking about how it's a bigger change than people like. How you can't just, in his mind,
Yeah.
you can't just rename it something. You can't. It's not. Basically, what we say is that if you make it to the point where it's palatable by people in like a boardroom or by the majority of people who use just money, then it's not Bitcoin anymore, and you're not going to be able to make it. You're not going to make it so that it's like the old thing. It's not supposed. It wasn't designed or whatever you think to be the old thing. It was designed to make a change and to be different.
Yeah.
So
So
not
he's saying.
not.
I agree with that, but I still think it could turn pop punk. Like we've been seeing all these banks trying to use, and it's like the same thing that I said weeks ago. It doesn't. I don't think that them adding the blockchain replaces Bitcoin in any way, but disruptive technology is only disruptive if people use it, and if people's yeah, and if people well. I would say that to use Bitcoin, you kind of have to be disruptive, and like the stuff that they're going to be doing at banks is a different thing. And I don't think that changes Bitcoin or makes it less disruptive. But if people don't think there's a difference between what they're doing, it's all about like perception and whether people are actually using it or not.
Yeah.
Does that make
Right.
sense?
If it's disruptive and no one ever uses it for that purpose, it's not really disruptive.
Yeah. I don't know if there's like a historical
So,
example of something like that. I mean, I guess the pop punk thing works. Like, punk was disruptive, but then you get bands like Blink-182 and like Green Day selling millions and millions and millions of stuff, and like,
But John, they still have that angstiness. They're still pure punk.
but
yeah.
so is he saying then that it? I mean, yeah, I guess he's saying it can't be controlled. So that stuff about the banks using it and kind of like dumbing it down. Is he saying that that's not possible and that's not going to hurt Bitcoin?
No, I think what he's saying is that that's not actually Bitcoin, and I would agree. You can't control actual Bitcoin, but if you convince everybody that what you're doing is the same thing and they don't
Okay.
know any better, that's I guess that's what I'm saying. That if
Yeah.
people don't know the difference, then it's almost like controlling it.
Yeah. We've touched on this a couple times a long time ago, but it's like when it's like if they issued something that was backed by Bitcoin, or if when you deposit money in a system like Coinbase where you don't actually see your money on the blockchain because it's kept in their addresses and they do what they want with it. If if that's the case, then it's kind of what it's. I mean, it's if they're honest, then maybe everything will be fine. But it could be like what you're saying, John. I'll just use Coinbase because it's an easy example. They could they could be telling you that everything that you have in your Coinbase account is real Bitcoins, even if they don't have the real Bitcoins backing it up. And people are going to use that and imagine that they have Bitcoins, and especially if they transfer it to other Coinbase users, that's all done like off chain. And people are going to imagine that it's Bitcoin. They're going to be convinced that it's Bitcoin, even though they don't realize that it's completely off the network. There may or may not be anything behind it. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd agree with that, but I think this stuff with banks using it is more like they're not even saying that you have Bitcoin, they're just using the blockchain to do clearing and stuff for the US dollar and to keep
Okay.
track of transactions. I don't know if that's what Antonopoulos is talking about, but like that's the stuff that I've been reading about as far as banks trying to experiment with all this stuff is all that. It's just like using it to augment the currently existing systems, and that's consistent with what he says. Like doing that, I don't think is the same as changing Bitcoin. It's kind of just stealing ideas from it and using them.
Right.
But
And
if people think that's good enough,
exactly, yeah, if they get stuck on that. I still think in general, I mean, even if they never touched the uh, Bitcoin, the currency, even if the banks literally did just like piggyback off the blockchain, kind of like Counterparty, they have all these crypto tokens that you can create with Counterparty, and it runs on top of the Bitcoin network, but it never really uses Bitcoin. And I still would say that's decent for the currency. Just the fact that the network is being used, it gives people because if you're putting data on the blockchain, you got to pay fees, right? That's the whole thing with this block size limit. If you're trying to cram a ton of data into a block, you're going to have to pay for that. And I think that's a pretty helpful thing to have people paying the miners and incentivizing them more to do what they do. So yeah, I would agree. Like if they were literally just piggybacking off the blockchain to support the U.S. dollar, sure, that's kind of a ripoff, but it's not really any worse than it is now. and it would kind of help the network. So I don't know. Do you agree? Does that even make sense?
I think I know what you're saying. And
I guess I guess it's tough though because I'm not sure I even know what these like banks have planned. What exactly are they going to use? How much are they going to use it? So,
yeah.
or are they
Well,
just going to take the open source and create something entirely new? That would
yeah,
be useless for Bitcoin.
that seems like what most of them are doing. It seems like they're making their own blockchains that are basically centralized.
Okay,
They're well,
okay.
they're like not centralized, but they're also restricted to like
Right,
within. So like only
right.
on the bank's network does it run. So even though it's technically not centralized, because if you have it completely centralized, you lose all the benefits. It's still only operated by. It's still only operated on the bank's network, and nobody outside of that has
Okay.
any
So,
say in it.
yeah, this leads to an interesting question. I did an interview yesterday. You two couldn't make it, so I'll just tell you a little bit about it and ask you a little bit about it. It'll come out tomorrow. Well, hopefully, if I can find time to edit and finish it and post it. It should come out. Oh gosh.
To Detroit. I do need altitude and confirm pass.
Daniel is does indisposed work here?
Hmm?
Unable to communicate, so we're going to keep on talking.
It's better now. But thank you for filling in that time with
Oh,
your voice,
well,
Tim.
I wouldn't want to have to listen to silence, and I understand for the listeners. Oh,
Uh, so yeah, the interview that will come out tomorrow was with a guy named Stefan, and he was a protocol architect for Trust. Were you both there when we did Trust, or just one of you? The Cameroonian cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I wasn't there for that.
Okay.
okay.
So yeah, they are starting a cryptocurrency on their own. Kind of, well, it's not actually really a national cryptocurrency because Trust is not a Cameroonian thing. Trust is a currency that can and may be used anywhere. So Trust is global, but they just tried to use it a lot in Cameroon, and the test went pretty well. People loved it, and which is interesting in itself. But part of the question was, well, if you're trying to have, and we talked about, was it Ecuador too was starting their own cryptocurrency, and I don't know, but regardless, if a country starts its own cryptocurrency, one of the most important questions is, well, how much control do they have over it, right? I think you were both there when we kind of talked about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm listening
All right, all
above
right,
Matthew's
all right, all
footsteps.
right. Whatever. Then maybe this is better. Then you can tell me if what I'm. Oh my gosh. Tim, tell people to tweet us.
Okay. Oh, now I'm being ordered now. Now, everybody, this is also a good time to then again plug GenuTrust, or Jenny Trust, not GenuTrust, and Wall Coins to go check them out for any of your trading needs.
We
Please
just
also
lost our
tweet us. We
sponsors.
need. What'd you say?
I said we just lost all of our sponsors.
You can't even say it right. And please tweet us at UManBTC using the hashtag YMBLive. We definitely need some help. Daniel's decided to bring a whole lot of noise on the show that is not necessary right now.
That's what I do. Tim, that's what I do every week anyway, though. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is correct. He's in Vegas now this time, and it's just a bunch of airport noise. It's not just noise. It's just him. It's not just him talking. So, are you guys done with with the Antonopoulos? No, you went on to something else.
Yeah. And this is still a kind of interesting question, and I could have sworn we already talked about it, but maybe it is a little bit fresher than I thought. So, the big issue, if you're gonna have a national cryptocurrency, the biggest question is, well, how much control do the authorities have over the network? God damn it!
Well, that's
I
the whole
apologize
problem
to
with.
anyone watching the episode of this live show.
Well,
All
anyone
right,
listening is gonna have a worse time.
yeah, I might trim it up. I don't know if I have time, but so I asked this guy the question. Uh, well, not specifically in that way. I didn't say how much control does the government have, but I asked him about, you know, who can be a node, who can be a. They don't quite have miners; they call them validators. But who's allowed to be a validator? How do you become a validator? Is there approval and stuff? And here's what he said, and I want to get your thoughts on whether you think this is
Hi.
a good thing
Oh,
or a bad thing.
all right, thank you.
Uh, Basically, to become a validator on the Trust. God damn it. God damn it. I'm just going to keep talking and hopefully maybe I'll make a
Yeah,
little more
it's
sense.
okay. They'll get over it.
If in order to become a validator, you have to put up a deposit in of trust. You deposit trust into probably the network in general, and you can be a validator. And when you're done being a validator, you can get that trust, that cryptocurrency back. But here's the thing that might be an issue, and I want to know if you agree. His theory, or just the story that he laid out for how people could become a validator was like, well, basically it could be universities, and the Trustor Foundation could give a university free Trustors that they could then use for their deposit because they pre-mined all the trust, and the foundation controls all the trust at present, and they're like, oh, well, we can give free trusts to universities so that they can become validators. I mean, yeah, theoretically, other people could still be validators just by buying it and putting up the deposit, but that seems like a. I mean, I don't want to just bash this guy. He was a cool guy, and it was a great conversation, and there are some interesting things about trusts. I'm not saying it's a complete joke, but I just have some hesitations about the idea that the foundation can basically just make anybody a validator for free when other people have to put up the deposit themselves. And I just want to know, is that centralized to you, or do you guys think that over time enough other people might join a system like that? I don't know. Any thoughts at all? Because that is sort of a national cryptocurrency, at least in terms of Cameroon. Although, like I said, it hopefully the idea is that it could still be global too. So, yeah. Any thoughts?
Um. So what all exactly do the validator, like what powers do the validators have?
Yeah. Actually, that's another good conversation. The validators. He said that instead of traditional mining, they actually vote on transactions, and part of the goal was, or the purpose of that change was to eliminate the gigantic electricity cost of traditional mining. Because right now, we've mentioned this recently, it costs about $7 per transaction to do mining. And he said the validators work differently and are a whole lot more efficient. And there's actually no incentive for them to validate. There is no reward or anything, except the fact that it's a lot cheaper to do, and they can just support the network.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And So I think that is definitely more centralized than Bitcoin, and to me that makes sense if they're going for efficiency, because sometimes by making things decentralized you do lose efficiency. Like that can be a side effect that's just it's just present there. It's kind of innate,
Right,
depending on
right.
how things are done. Uh, so I guess if you're looking for something that's like perfectly decentralized, yeah, that doesn't sound like the place to go. But I guess it's worth saying that even if some things aren't perfect, they might still be better than something else, and for that reason, I don't know. It
Yeah,
still sounds like a
yeah.
cool idea, and like for smaller countries that are like in trouble or something, maybe something like this will be able to help them more, or be able to help them more quickly. I don't know. I don't know too much about like that setting up currencies for countries, but
Yeah, I think that's a good start, especially since it Trust is not a Cameroonian thing specifically, like I said.
yeah,
And I think that's a really good start because that means that, yeah, sure, maybe the foundation, the Trustor Foundation, maybe they pre-mined a lot, and there's always the chance that they're going to misuse that pre-mined money. Fine. But that's better than having a government completely controlling a cryptocurrency. Well, I wouldn't really even call it a cryptocurrency if that was how it worked. So yeah, I think I know what you're saying, John. This is better than a centralized national currency. But we'll have to see how it plays out and if it
well,
actually works out.
I mean, it's not about it being national or not national. I think it's like less centralized than a government controlled currency, at least any of the ones that we've seen, because you can have people become validators who aren't part of the foundation, right? And as more
Yeah.
people outside of the foundation become validators, don't they lose more power?
Right. I
What?
mean,
Because it
yeah,
gets spread
that's
around more. You mean?
exactly, yeah. As
Yeah.
soon as they give away their pre-mined trust, they're not quite just going to get it back for free. So that's kind of what I meant by over time, the trust should be distributed and the
Yeah,
pre-mine shouldn't be a huge deal, but you never know how they're going to initially use it.
yeah, yeah. And I guess on that point, it's worth saying that usually things that are meant to be like these idealistic kind of projects or whatever, usually they tend to be better towards the beginning than later. Things start to lose integrity later on. So if that kind of could maybe work out if you only have to trust them more at the beginning, and as it starts picking up its own momentum, the trust kind of diminishes slowly.
Hold on. So you're saying it would get better over time or worse over time?
If they lose power over time, you have to trust them less.
Okay.
And I guess I was saying that generally it seems like when there are things like this, usually people stay more true to what they're promising towards the beginning.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
So
this
it
reminds
it could
me.
work out.
Yeah, I mean, I have not followed this story a ton. I don't know all the details, but it reminds me of Ripple and Ripple Labs because they basically controlled their cryptocurrency, and then the founders got into this big fight about who owned the pre-mined gigantic, like gigantic percentages of the entire market cap or whatever that was controlled by like two or three people, and they got into fights about it. And then they like rolled back the blockchain to like get coins away from one of the guys, or like they blacklisted him, something like that. And that's kind of what it reminds me of, with the idea of just having the foundation have so much control over so much money, and that's why the distribution is so important. I'm not saying they can't do it. Maybe they can do it right, and maybe they will, but it's not easy, and that's part of the reason that Bitcoin mining exists. Cool. That was where did that story start? Was that all the way back on Antonopoulos?
Possibly. Yeah,
No,
it
yeah,
was.
way back with him.
Yeah, because we were talking about national currency or national cryptocurrencies or people setting up things that are like cryptocurrencies.
Yeah. So we went to Smooth Jazz, or from
Yeah.
Smooth Jazz to Ripple Labs.
I think you were trying to make a point about the Antonopoulos thing. I don't know if you did and I missed it, or if you forgot, or if there never was a point.
I think my main goal was to ask about the guy from Trestor and just ask if you think, God damn it, if you think it's legitimate for the foundation to basically select validators and make them validators for free by just giving them the trust. And I guess I haven't heard from you, Tim. Any thoughts on that? Because my main question was that's one of the things that would make it centralized, right? If there's a group out there that is selecting the validators, isn't that pretty much centralization?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a point of centralization, yes. So it's not going to be free from all the problems that brings with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't have.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, you can. Everybody should check out the interview tomorrow. Hopefully, if I'm not, if I have, I don't know, if I haven't gambled my life savings away.
He's not in a ditch by 7 p.m. today. His time. I'll give him some time because he only has about 5 hours here.
Yeah. And we also, well, hang on a sec. We also talked about, something with, there's a vulnerability in the encryption, which he said it's not an immediate threat, and I didn't ask him a ton of questions about it, but that's something interesting that I'd be interested in looking into that more, and I'll have some links in the show notes tomorrow that he gave me. So if anybody's interested in that, apparently there's a way for people to put their private keys in their transactions without knowing it. That's kind of what he said, and it sounds crazy. So, and I don't know the details. So, but if you're interested, okay, cool. All right, I guess we can move on. I may as well just ask people to send us a tweet.
I already did that.
You can, yeah, I know. But
Yes,
Tim,
no, please send us more tweets.
Tim, I do it like 12 times an hour, and now obviously I was getting interrupted again.
Okay, I apologize for that, Daniel.
Well, one thing we haven't I don't think you've said yet is where our landing page, you, me, and btc.com/live. You can watch there. You can listen there. You can tweet us there. There's a button right there that you can click, and it'll fill everything in for you. And normally we have a poll, but like we're kind of disoriented today, so that didn't make it out there. If you have any crazy ideas that you think we should be asking about, let us know. Send us a tweet, and we can make a poll, sure, and it'll stay up all week. So I'm not seeing anything just yet, any tweets yet. So I want to throw a quick shout out to Enjoy Bitcoins. He's tweeted us several times in the past. Oh gosh. Yeah, he's an awesome dude. That's all I gotta say. All right, if any of you have the story, go for it.
I do have. It's just a quick little thing. It's a company called Spartan Route. They're working in Greece. They're helping Greek businesses. They're facilitating loans in the form of Bitcoin, which can be used to buy foreign goods and services. They say that after the meeting of many business owners in Athens over the last few days, it's become evident that imports are as much of an issue as exports. Due to restriction placed on Greek businesses by capital controls, importers have been unable to pay for goods and services outside of the Greek economic area. Spartan Route also processes international payments to suppliers by accepting Bitcoin for Greek importer and paying foreign suppliers in euros. Since it's not really that, the lending process isn't much different than a traditional, or it's no different than a traditional borrowing arrangement, and can be and to be a qualified recipient, it is expected that you meet international compliance and creditworthiness standards. I mean, so that's cool. At least people can get some money in and out and can possibly keep on running their businesses, even during the bankruptcy and everything that's going on in Greece right now.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of that, but I was also a little distracted for a minute. Do you want to put it in like one sentence for me?
It's Spartan Route is they're I don't know if it's a company or what exactly it is, but they loan out money to, specifically right now, they facilitate loans to Greek businesses in the form of Bitcoin.
Oh, that's actually, yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I saw a post. Somebody said, because I know we had a little bit of a disagreement about whether or not the Greeks would take to Bitcoin. And I saw it on Reddit. Somebody was saying that he is Greek, and he basically Bitcoin saved him from losing a whole lot of money. I don't remember the details. I think I just skimmed the article, and I don't have it in front of me now because I don't know where it was. It was a while ago that I read it. But I guess that's more or less what we imagined was if you were previously into Bitcoin and if the Greek currency crashes, then yeah, sure, your Bitcoin is going to hold its value and that's going to save you. But a lot of people just didn't get into it and aren't that interested in Bitcoin, and maybe they won't be helped out very much. But somebody did, so. But yeah, no, it is cool that somebody's out there trying to help people out in the country and helping them with Bitcoin. That's huge. I think that's great. Cool. Anything else on that? I have one thing that I don't think we covered yet, but anything else on that before we go? Oh, crap. I'm just going to keep talking. I have no clue if you can understand me. But I don't think we did this. We talked about this like 10 minutes before the show, but we didn't actually do it on the show. Correct me if I'm wrong. The fork, right? Did we talk about the weird fork kind of thing on the show?
No, we haven't yet.
Okay, yeah. So I'll just go ahead and share what I know. This is not from an article yet, although John, you might have that one up to grab some more details. But I'll just say what I know. Basically, I think it was 0.9.5, a version of Bitcoin Core. It doesn't really, the exact number doesn't really matter. But there was one version where they implemented a rule that said, well, apparently there's also different versions of Bitcoin blocks too. There's version 1, 2, and 3 apparently of Bitcoin blocks. And this rule said that once you get to the point where 950 or something like that, maybe 990, I don't know. But once a certain number out of the last 1,000 Bitcoin blocks are version 3 blocks, then we're going to stop accepting version 2 blocks, because it's basically, it says once a really high portion of the network is using the new version, and we can just be done with the old version, and we don't have to worry about it, right? That was the rule, and that's still the rule in Bitcoin Core. Well, on July 4th or somewhere around there, that happened. We got to 950 out of the last 1,000 blocks, or whatever the number is. We reached that limit. So theoretically, nobody should be accepting version 2 blocks anymore. Everybody should be using the version 3 blocks, because the protocol says that at this point we're going to start rejecting version 2, but some people are accepting version 2, and that's created a fork, because some people accept it and some people don't. And so what they're saying is, if you're using the older software, or if you're using SPV wallets, you should really be waiting for about 30 confirmations before you accept a payment. Because with these forks going on, the payments could get overwritten or erased or double spent, things like that. So you're the one looking at the article, John. Does that make sense? Anything that needs added?
Yeah, I mean, that seems like more explanation than what's in the article. I mean, I actually have two on this. One is a Business Insider, which I just have that because, I don't know. Well, that was the first one I found, but also Business Insider is kind of like, they seem to be pretty anti-Bitcoin.
Okay, yeah, that might be true. It is good to go to places like that, as opposed
the title
to
of the article is "Bitcoin is faltering at a bad time for Greece."
Well, the price is not faltering.
Yeah,
the price has been great.
Yeah, and it's like, let's see. They're like, yeah, though the issue is expected to be fixed within a few days, it's not the first time Bitcoin has seen this kind of software problem. It's terrible. Yeah.
Well, I will say I am a little surprised that it hasn't been fixed yet. I would have expected within like 24 hours all the big pools would update. And yeah, there might be a couple losers out there using the old version, but I mean, all you have to do is contact like 3, 4, 5 pool operators, and you've got like 90% of the network. I mean, that's just guessing, but still, it seems like it should be a lot easier than it has been.
Yeah,
it's been, what, 3 or 4 days now, and they're still struggling.
The other thing I have is from Bitcoin.org, so it's a little bit less like, it's more just like advice kind of, or they're like, yeah, if you use 0.9.4 or earlier, just wait additional 30 confirmations, and then they're telling everybody that they should upgrade to 0.10.2, but at least you should have 0.9.5, because if you're after that or later, you shouldn't be affected by this. They have just say if you pull a mine, just make sure that you start properly validating blocks. Yeah, let's see. It says, when will things go back to normal? But it doesn't really say. Yeah, that's like a heading of a section, but the section doesn't really have anything to do with that. Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't really say when it'll be normal?
Yeah, okay, well, they have a couple of updates. So July 6th is their last update, which was 2 days ago. It says a new fork occurring starting 5th of July at 21:30, with 3 blocks before the valid chain again became the strongest chain. See their recently added list of forks. So they have a link to that. So if you want to check out Bitcoin.org and find this article, or find this, it's just called "Some Miners Generating Invalid Blocks." You can find a link to a list of forks if you want to look at that.
If you if you click on that, I don't know what it looks like. Is it possible to say roughly how many forks there have been, or how often they've been coming about, or is it too confusing to figure that out right away?
Let's see.
Because
Oh,
the reason I'm
it's
asking.
actually just a list of a thing on the actual page. It just scrolls you up, and
Yeah.
it only has 2 forks on there.
Okay, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask. That's what I thought because, and that I guess that makes sense. I mean, there should only be a really few people out there that are screwing up, and
Yeah, and
I guess.
so the one, it started on July 4th at 2:10 and ended at 3:50. It was 6 blocks, and it said there were 0 double spends. The second is July 5th, 21:50, and it ended at 23:40. There were 3 blocks, and it says the double spends are not yet known. But yeah, so the rest of the update that I didn't finish, which was the July 6th at 4 o'clock, it said please continue to wait 30 confirmations. There hasn't been another update.
I'm not really sure where Tim just went, but whenever I just got a gigantic quality upgrade when he left, your sound got so much better. I don't know where he went.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Anyway, what was like the last sentence or two that you said? The forks. There aren't many forks.
They had two. There it was like July 4th, 2:10 to 3:50, 6 blocks, and there were 0 double spends. And then July 5th,
Okay.
21:50 to 23:40, 3 blocks, and it says it's not yet known whether there were any double spends.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem terrible, especially with that few forks. But the fact is that there may still be forks, and your software may still misinterpret those forks. And so if you're on the old software, then just wait 30 confirmations.
Yeah. So, hold on a second. Yeah. So I guess they're saying with the the problem is, like they said July 4th early in the morning, they reached 95% threshold, which was what was the targeted threshold to switch over to the version 3 blocks.
Okay.
And it was a small miner, part of the non-upgraded 5%, mined an invalid block. I guess it could just be like 1, which was unexpected. But that wasn't the main problem. Was actually that half of the hash rate of the entire network was SPV mining, so they weren't fully validating blocks.
Yeah.
And they started building new blocks on top of the invalid block. So it kind of caused a chain reaction, and that's why it's been affecting a lot of people and not just.
Yeah, that makes sense.
5% is servicing.
Right. So there's only a tiny percent that will mine an invalid block, but a good portion of other people will accept that.
Yeah, it says.
And that's what kind of made the problem.
Yeah, and according to this, it says that several large miners have lost over $50,000 worth of mining income so far.
Yeah,
so that's pretty serious too. In just a few days, 50,000.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like say 3 blocks get erased. There's Tim again. What the heck, Tim? What, you don't love us?
No.
So let's say that I think you said one of the forks was 3 blocks. So if 3 blocks get forked and then overwritten, what's that? 75 bitcoins times 250. Gosh, I can't do that.
Come on, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm seeing like 20,000. But I guess if it happened twice, then that could push 50,000. Anyway.
Yeah, so, do you have anything else to say?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, I was just gonna finish up at the end. They say the recommended fix that they're proposing, Bitcoin.org, is that all miners should switch from SPV mining to full validation temporarily, at least temporarily. and they said it was attempted. I guess that maybe that didn't happen, but yeah, that's what they're telling everybody they should do to try to fix this.
You guys still talking about the
All right, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I figured you were.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I guess I might as well remind anybody if you're just joining up, I'm in Vegas for Freedom Fest. I'm super excited. I didn't even know I was coming, and I didn't even know that it was happening very much. I mean, I had heard of it, but I didn't really know it was even this week until about 36 hours ago. So I just got in about 2 hours ago, and I'm currently in the airport still.
And he's already on this show to entertain all you people.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss this for the world. I mean, I would. If somebody was literally offering me the world to miss this, I guess I would. But and anyway, so here's what I want you guys to do, everybody. Check out you, me, and btc.com/live. That's where you can watch, although you might already be doing that. That's where you can listen live. You can tweet us. There's a button right there that'll bring up at you, me, and BTC with the hashtag YMBLive. That's how you can get in touch with us. Any thoughts at all, questions, comments. If you've got a headline we should cover, let us know. Send us a tweet. Normally we have a poll on the same page, youmeandbtc.com/live. We don't have that this week because it's been kind of crazy. And it really is going to be a crazy week. My audio's who knows what. The poll's not there. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to post this. I may not have time today. So the timing for today's episode and tomorrow's episode could be a little weird. I have no clue how things might go down. It's going to be a crazy week, but we'll get caught up eventually. So, okay. Anything I missed? I'll mention Jenna Trust and Wall of Coins again. Hopefully, I'll do a little better than Tim did. They seriously.
What did I do? Jenna Trust.
You mispronounced their name for starters.
Well, I said Genu Trust the first time. I'm sure Daniel's mispronounced it too. Maybe.
No, but despite Tim's misrepresentation, they seriously. Oh shoot! I got a phone call that I should really take. So actually, I'm going to give Tim another shot at this one.
Oh, good. Okay, apparently, I even brought it back up as soon as I came in. Right here, it's Genu Trust. Go check out Wall Coins. We like them here. They help us buy Bitcoin. They're pretty much how I almost always buy Bitcoin now. I know Daniel likes them a lot, even though he can't say it since he's on his phone call because he's very important down in Vegas. But
he's more important than either of us, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not setting the bar very high right now. And again, just tweet us, like he said, please, somebody. Please.
Please, somebody.
Make it stop.
I need it. Validate my existence. I need.
Yeah, exactly.
Attention.
I need someone to tell me that someone's paying attention to me besides you. You want to start talking about the thing I just put in the chat? The MIT stuff?
Let me look at it real quick.
Well, it's...
we talked about this last week.
Alright, never mind.
Way to not watch the show last week.
I was going to watch a 2-hour show, you two talking about nonsense. But all of you definitely should.
No, I think this was the one where we used an Engadget article, which Engadget I like because they have really short articles, so you can read a lot of stuff in a short period of time. But this one seems a lot more in depth. So if you want to go in depth, we could talk about it. But yeah, we pretty much covered it last week.
And what do you guys think about that?
We thought it was pretty cool. I can't remember if we had a big discussion about it or not because I can't remember most things.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you have anything else to talk about, or do you want to talk about anything about that?
No, not if you guys already talked about it.
Okay. This is pretty bad that we're doing this on air. Live and uncut. It's raw. But yeah,
Shows
anyways.
all the chinks in the armor.
Yeah, I actually do have something we could talk about, and we might be able to talk about this for a little bit of a while. I mean, we've already kind of. I probably could have brought it up earlier when we were talking about trust and banks and stuff. This is an article from independent.co.uk called "Bitcoin Could Destroy the Global Financial System, One of the World's Biggest Banks Admits." So, the main gist of the article is that Bitcoin could make everything that banks do so much easier and make them unnecessary, I guess, to a certain extent. I'll read a few bits of it so that I can accurately represent them.
Hang on. Before you read bits, I need a recap. What did I miss? Anything good? Did Tim screw
No.
up again?
Well, yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did. He sent us an article about Enigma, that thing we talked about last week.
What was it again?
That was the one where they were like sending encrypted data.
Yeah.
So like they'd basically send you a little a black box with data, and then the whole network would perform operations on it and send it back. So nobody would have the full thing, but they'd all be able to use.
It was cool for the idea of stuff like for medical stuff. Did it talk about that at all?
Yeah, that's what we
talked
focused
about that for a
on.
long time.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, then yeah, there is nothing to say about that.
All right. So go ahead, John. What are we talking about now?
Okay, so I was just saying that I probably could have brought this up earlier when we were talking about trust and banks and stuff, and the Bitcoin being punk rock and whatever. This is an independent.co.uk article. I don't need to say that because only people need to know and not you. I guess I'll post it in the chat. But it's basically a big bank is saying that it thinks Bitcoin could destroy the global financial system in a good way.
Wow.
I think that's what they mean. So I said I was going to read it so that I can accurately represent the opinions of these kind journalists.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. At the moment, a large and complex system is required to transfer money and goods that are moved around during a trade. And banks make much of their money from providing post-trade infrastructure that allows such trades to happen safely. But if the blockchain were integrated into securities trading, the huge business that allows people to buy and sell shares and debts, then it could destroy all of that business. So basically, the gist is that computers can do what we're paying banks to do.
That's completely true. Yeah, it's
Yeah, but the article isn't totally supportive, I guess, or isn't anti-banking. So at the end, they're saying, well, it says that he thinks if the blockchain is developed more, the setup, then industry players become redundant. But at the end, they end by saying that, well, people have to keep their own private keys. They might need banks to trust. They might want to trust banks with their private keys, just so that they don't have to take care of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a difficult thing to say, but
Yeah.
you know, there are some people that probably would. I mean, Tim, don't you always say that you don't really trust yourself with your coin?
With my coin?
Yeah, haven't you said that before?
I don't. What do you mean? I don't trust myself with them.
Like
To keep it private and
to
safe.
keep it safe,
secure
yeah.
and everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I trust myself because I have to. It's just not an ideal situation, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a
So-
legitimate concern, and I agree with you that like that's not something that we should disregard. But like, why banks? Like,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'd prefer insurance. Like, I'd rather just pay a little bit to have it protected, as opposed to banks. Like, I don't even know what they would do. Like, do they just
Well, I mean-
keep it in a box?
Dude.
I mean, you could also use like escrow or something like that. or have multi-sig addresses.
Yeah, multi-sig. Yeah, we still gotta set that up. Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
I wonder. Yeah, never mind.
yeah.
Anyway, well, yeah. So Tim, would you trust a third party though? And if so, who? Oh crap! I guess you would trust me a little bit.
What do you mean?
I don't know why.
Who? Well, because I know that you're like, you leave enough of a trail that if you run off with my money, I can find you and break something and get it back.
Yeah.
And break something.
But yeah, I mean, I trust a third party. I think that's kind of just something you normally have to. Be quiet. Anyway,
my bad,
I think
my
it's
bad.
something you have to do. Is probably you have to trust the third. I mean, you have to trust other people. You have to use other people, not necessarily with your money, but I don't see any problem in doing it with my money as long as I know that person has some reason for them not to just run away with a substantial amount of my money. But no, I'm not against trusting third parties with my money.
What? I mean, how would you want them to keep your money? Like, if you were trying to just keep your money safe with someone else, do you want something like just a safety deposit box where you can put your private keys and the institution can't really even touch it themselves? Do you want something like insurance, like I mentioned, where you never even give it to them, but it's still protected, but you probably would have to pay more, of course. Would you prefer something like Coinbase, where it's extremely accessible, but they also have kind of full control over it? What would be your ideal kind of, I would say, fairly long term, just like protect some money for a while? What would be your ideal, most secure solution in terms of a third party?
I think I'd probably like. I mean, it would depend. If I was going to stop being so lazy that I actually put money into some third parties, I would probably go to where I put most of it in something where they didn't have the private keys where I had them, and then some other ones which might be a little bit easier, or might be a little bit more simple to move around if I needed quick money to move. I guess is how I put it. If it was like if it's long term, I don't see the point of them. I might as well have the keys myself. But if it's short term, I don't really care. And as long as you don't put that much money in it, like these, it's not that bad of a thing to have your money in an online wallet. Just don't leave $2,000 worth of it in there for months on end. I'd just keep it out of that. Like cut down on your risks of using it as much as you can.
Right. I guess Coinbase does have their like vault or multi-sig vault feature where you can keep your Bitcoin pretty darn secure and they can't even really touch it. So that'd be a pretty good solution. I never took the effort to set it up and protect my own keys and stuff, which is probably a little bit of a mistake on my end. But they do have the option. So I don't know, John, are you in agreement, or I don't know, would
Yeah.
you rather have? I'm still kind of fascinated by the kind of the physical storage where you just get a bank deposit box and keep your keys there, and they can't touch them. Is that something you would do, or would you not prefer that?
No, I'm actually fine with trusting third parties. I feel like I'm probably more fine with it maybe than either. I don't know, but maybe than either of you. I can't say that for sure, but like I don't know. I'm maybe careless. You could call it that. Maybe it's just laziness.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or
But no,
another possibility is like broke and you just don't really have any money to lose.
that is also a possibility. No, but I just don't know why they're like they might need banks to do it because like we've been talking about there's different like why a bank you could have like you said like an
Yeah.
insurance company or I don't know, like a new kind of company that's just like a
Yeah.
security thing.
Security, exactly. I was gonna say the same word.
There's,
I don't know why they keep saying banks.
yeah, there's not really like a word for or a company for what I'm thinking of, but basically I guess like insurance or like I said, doing multi-sig stuff with somebody that maybe knows a little bit more about privacy than you. Like even just a friend, or if some company does it for you, doing things through escrow, or like these online wallets. I mean, I think there's a difference between Coinbase and a bank. As much as it's easy to like rip on Coinbase or make fun of them or whatever or hate on them, I think they're still different, pretty different from a bank.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree. That's the biggest thing for me. It's just why are you calling it a bank? So
Yeah, and like I don't know. Let's see. What other things do banks do? I mean, they charge interest, or they pay interest.
yeah, the biggest thing is
They do
loans.
loans. Yeah.
And I mean, I can see that there will be people in the Bitcoin space that need that or want that and want to take
Yeah, but
risks like that.
they have other loan stuff. Like what was it from who did we talk to? Alexis.
Yeah,
BTC
BTC
Jam. Yeah, I mean, and that's cooler too because it's also like crowdfunded loans
Yeah,
instead of a bank.
exactly.
There's other ways of doing
Exactly.
loans.
Yeah, you don't really have to trust a third party in that sense either. Really, it's just a second party really that you have to trust because that's what peer-to-peer lending is. It's you and the second party, not the third party. So yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, really, that's the biggest service that a bank would provide is lending. That's why they take your money and that's why they give it away to other people. And there's a place for that in Bitcoin, but you don't need a bank to do it, I guess is what the point is. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, I think having different people do all the same services as a bank, like if you want to call one of their services storage and like safekeeping or whatever,
Right,
have somebody
right.
else do that, the less things that people, or the fewer number of things that an entity is doing, I feel like the better they can do it.
Yeah, I think
And
I would agree
also,
with
Getting
that.
more focus on it, yeah.
and the other thing is too, like if you're someone who maybe you need a loan, but you trust yourself to be able to keep your stuff secure, well, you don't want to have to use a bank where you're going to have to put up with a lot of things that you don't need to just to get one benefit. Does that make sense? You can opt into what services you want and not opt into the ones that you don't want.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's like, I mean, it doesn't seem like having a bank, they're like forcing you to trust them, but I know like one of my bank accounts, if I want to keep my checking account, I have to deposit every month in it. Now I could deposit 1 cent if I wanted to, but I have to keep money in it, and I think I
Yeah.
have to have like at least $200 in it or something, or they'll change it to a different type of account, or they'll like I don't know, they'll do something, send me a letter in the mail, an angry letter. But yeah, I mean I have to keep money in that account, and I have to deposit every month. So I mean, in some ways, banks do.
Oh no. Oh no.
What? Oh, what did happen to both of you?
We lost him.
What
You
happened to you? Your video? Yeah, I'm still here. What happened to your video?
I don't know. I'm seeing video. Oh man, this
Oh,
is
that's not good.
crazy.
All right.
I'm not sure. I'm
Oh,
not
go on. There he is.
Wow, sorry about that. I accidentally clicked the X on the tab thing. I wondered how long it was going to be before I did that. Like, I knew I was going to do that sometime. I'm surprised it's been this long.
Uh,
Oh, man.
so you were talking about
Yeah, I was just saying that they, in some ways, they do kind of force you to trust them. You can't just, like, get... Yeah, and I actually, from that bank, I have gotten a loan before, and you you can't just like get a loan from them. You have to set up accounts with them and stuff and be
Right.
a customer or whatever they call it, a patron before you can get a loan.
Yeah, this tangent started from the Bitcoin could destroy the global financial system, right? That article.
Yeah.
But also, this is changing subjects a little bit, but that reminded me of our conversation a little bit the other day. And this will also come out tomorrow. We interviewed Robert Allen, who runs CoinCube, and it's an algorithmic trading service. That's the main focus, and we will talk about all that tomorrow. But just kind of as a sidetrack, we got onto precious metals because that's his. He has a history in the space, and we talked about the possibility that this article talks about Bitcoin destroying the global financial system, but we also mentioned the possibility that Bitcoin could really displace gold or precious metals. And I want to get some more thoughts from you two on that, just whether or not that's possible, how long it might take, because completely unrelated to our interview, the exact same day, I helped run a class with Jeffrey Tucker and Tatiana Moroz, and they actually ended up touching on almost the exact same point, that really gold, there's a crisis in Greece, Bitcoin is not quite spiking, but it is definitely on the rise, and gold and silver are just dead in the water, even though there's a huge crisis in Greece. And they mentioned the exact same possibility that, hey, crypto it's got the same benefits as a lot of the same benefits as precious metals, but it's online, it's digital, it's a million times easier to use. So any thoughts on that? I just as a kind of an extension of tomorrow's episode, which everyone should definitely check out. Do you see a displacement coming? And do you think it could happen anytime soon? Do you think it's already happening with the way this crisis is playing out and the prices?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people that I know are probably more likely to try Bitcoin than gold. I mean, like when I talk about the fact that I've like bought silver and that I have a bunch of silver stashed at my house, like people kind of think it's funny. I think
Yeah.
people I don't know, they see it as like you're like a miserly old man or something like that. But like people tend to seem a little bit more interested or like fascinated by Bitcoin because I mean it is definitely I think more interesting than gold. Maybe not interesting to look at, but to think about.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. I'm wondering which one. If you go up to some guy on the street or a family member, I mean, I had a family reunion recently, and I talked to several people about the kind of work I do. If you go up to somebody that's never used Bitcoin and never bought silver, which one do you think they'd be more likely to buy? Not just to talk about, but to actually buy.
Well, I think the nice thing about Bitcoin is that it's easier to buy smaller amounts. It's easier to spend less. Like even if you just buy 1 ounce of silver, that's still like $20. Whereas if you really wanted to, you could get like $5 worth of Bitcoin and.
Yeah, but the problem with Bitcoin is just signing up, verifying, which, hey, over there, wall of coins, that you don't
Over
have to
there.
sign up. you and this is I'm not trying to be funny or make a joke or anything. It's completely true. With wall of coins, you can buy $5 worth of coins same day within half an hour without ever making an account. Super convenient. Wallofcoins.com. Seriously, check that out. But in the minds of most people, or the people who don't know about Wall of Coins, there's a lengthy sign up process for something like Coinbase or an exchange like Bitstamp. That's even more difficult. And for a lot of people, if you're going to buy Bitcoin, you probably want to buy a lot just to make the entry process worthwhile, I think. Whereas with silver, you could buy a quarter ounce if you really wanted to, which, yeah, it's not 10 cents. It's what, $5, $4 plus shipping, which is annoying. Fine, but still, with silver there are existing reputable retailers, and it's the same thing like we're used to every day. Like with Amazon, you just go, you select what you want to buy, put in your credit card address, and you're done. And you can do that with silver, not quite with Bitcoin. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I honestly don't think. I guess it depends whether you're buying stuff online or not. It's not super easy to buy gold or silver.
I think I disagree. It seems to me that's pretty much identical to like Amazon,
Don't
right?
you
I mean,
usually have to send checks though?
oh, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah.
And
So
a
if you
lot of
want
people don't even know how to write checks.
to, yeah, I've never done it in my life. Uh, if that
And then
is a
you've
good
got to
point.
wait a long time for it to clear. I feel like it's not that much easier. And like just sending a
Yeah,
letter is kind of a hassle.
that's crazy. I didn't even think of that, but you're completely right. If you want to pay with a credit card, which you can, but you're going to pay an extra couple percent, probably 3, 4, 5%. If you want the lowest price, yes, you're going to have to send a check or a bank wire, and you're going to have to wait a couple days,
Oh yeah,
and
and
then it's
bank
got to be
wires
done.
fees for bank wires are ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, so touche, John. That's a really good point. And so I don't know. I guess you're right. It kind of turns out to be pretty equal. They're both a little tough to get into. Maybe since Bitcoin is more interesting to talk about, maybe somebody would be more likely to buy Bitcoin. I don't know.
I think it's also easier to find Bitcoin like closer to spot price. Like you were saying, if you want to buy credit cards, you're gonna have to pay fees and stuff. And
Yeah.
it seems like with precious metals, there's a lot more markups on services than there are with Bitcoin exchanges. Like if you set up Coinbase, like that's pretty much like the lowest price you're gonna get. I mean, unless you're trading with people like person to person.
Right.
Like like for a bigger site, most of them are pretty comparable in price, and you don't really have to worry about fees, like extra fees.
Yeah, that's fairly true.
And then there's shipping costs as well with
Oh
metals.
yeah. Well, yeah. Actually, some of them do free shipping. Like I think
Yeah.
JM Bullion does free shipping on any order, which they definitely lose on if you buy a tiny order, but it's out there. But yeah, I know what you mean, and there are definitely some benefits to, or there are definitely some ways in which it's easier to buy Bitcoin instead of silver. So yeah, maybe it's a draw. I don't know. It stinks that they're both tough, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a problem in Bitcoin for a while. It's just so hard to get into, and it keeps people out, and that's been a pain. But seriously, Wall of Coins and Genitrust, they seriously do take a huge step forward in that space. So cool. Well, anything on that, or should we squeeze in one more before we finish up? I guess we went on for quite a while. Sorry about that stupid voice again. We went on for quite a while about that article about crashing the financial system and bringing down precious metals, maybe. I guess I don't know if I got. Did you answer the question, Tim, about whether you see Bitcoin displacing precious metals? anytime soon? Is it happening already?
About what?
Bitcoin displacing precious metals.
As what? You mean as like the?
Like as a store of value, like I said with Greece, there's a huge crisis in Greece. Bitcoin is going up. Gold is not moving at all, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean that people are fleeing to Bitcoin instead of gold?
Well, I mean that could be it, I guess, or it could be just that Bitcoin's a smaller market, so it gets
Oh
moved
yeah.
less, or it gets moved more. It's more easily manipulated. Um, I mean, I really don't know what else would be pushing up the higher prices, like right now. I mean, I think that whether it's smart or not, I think that's probably where it's coming from is people thinking it's going to go up because of Greece, or just a
Yeah.
lot of people from Greece or European countries buying in.
Yeah. Yeah. We mentioned this fairly recently. I'm not, it might not be the Greeks themselves, but the crisis is spurring people everywhere to kind of get interested. So, I mean, theoretically, yeah. I mean, and like you said, what else could it be? So, okay, cool. Well, yeah, we probably have time for one more. Any possibilities? Well, here's one just to say real quick, not worth getting into, but a comment says that a Reddit comment. I just saw Dope. Yes, I paid with Bitcoin, and he was really surprised how heavily Bitcoin was featured in the movie. So that's cool. I
Yeah,
still got to see it.
some guy at work last week said something about Bitcoin, and he asked me if I'd heard of it, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, I just saw that movie Dope. They're using Bitcoin and selling drugs and stuff. I mean, yeah, the way I said that was actually pretty close to how he said it. Tim would understand because he worked in the same place as me. But yeah, he was kind of like, they're on there selling them Bitcoins for the drugs.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's
And this
I
guy
mean,
is
people are
completely
hearing about it.
computer illiterate. I've seen him try to use a computer.
Oh, that's
And I
great.
mean, like, seriously, try.
Yeah, no. So I mean, yeah, that is a good sign. It's bringing awareness, and
Yeah.
honestly, just hearing that story and seeing this Reddit comment, it already seems like it's doing way better than I expected, and I tend to be optimistic when it comes to stuff like this. So yeah, it seems like a good turnout. Stupid voice. All right, so yeah, any other? I mean, yeah, we have time for one more if we're quick. Any other possibilities? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna scroll through my Twitter notifications because we get some tweeters on. Oh, I never finished my point. I wanted to thank Enjoy Bitcoins just because he's been with us for a long time. He retweets us all the time. He listens to the live show. And he reached out to me recently to try and maybe work out some promotion and stuff. I haven't had a chance to reply, but just want to say thanks for always being there, watching and listening and everything. Uh, it means a lot to have people paying attention. One of his comments was that we bring a sense of ordinary to to the to the space, which maybe is true. I don't know.
An ordinary sense of
I
ordinary.
I like that. Yeah. I don't know if it's true, but I think it's cool if it is true. I like that.
I mean, that really has been our goal. Like even since the very beginning, like when we first recorded, we said we're not even gonna edit this, and I mean that didn't last. But that's our goal has always been to be just kind of casual and personal. That really has been the point since the very beginning.
Yeah,
And I think we've held that pretty well.
yeah. I think that's actually really flattering.
Yeah, and that wasn't the only thing he said. I mean, he it was a long comment slash email. So yeah, another thank you to him, and we'll be in touch shortly. So I'm still scrolling through Twitter. I'm not seeing anything huge. Somebody liked John your Bitcoin in the Arts on. I put the video on YouTube or
Yeah,
the audio on YouTube, and somebody apparently liked the YouTube video.
yeah. We got a lot of pretty good action on that.
Yeah, I should check the actual numbers, and yeah, probably went pretty well. SoundCloud likes your shows because you talk about music and stuff, and that's
Oh, are they
SoundCloud.
on
So,
SoundCloud?
yeah, when they go through Liberty.me, they go through SoundCloud.
Okay,
So.
I didn't know we had SoundCloud
Because I
stuff.
remember the one, what was it? Ah, Tidal. You covered Tidal, and it got
Oh, yeah,
like
that-
over 1,000. It got like over 1,000 views in the first week on SoundCloud. So
Yeah, that was a pretty big deal.
right. All right. Well, here's what we can do. I guess I'll just go ahead and wrap things up. Definitely, everybody. Here's what things to check out. The Bitcoin in the Arts, if you haven't yet. Do you want to give like a 30-second, 1-minute overview of what that was, John? What all you covered in there?
Just the newest one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I talked about Ascribe.io, which is we talked about a similar thing. It's sort of like a registering thing where you register art on the blockchain to basically as like proof of ownership or proof of authorship, I guess. I talked about Taylor Swift because she's a big deal, I guess, and it's fun to talk about, and like she's a guilty pleasure of
Yeah.
mine.
You were saying how some people love to hate her, and that's definitely me. I don't like her at all.
What's your problem?
I hate to love her.
Why do you hate her, Dan?
She's incredibly ugly, and her music is not that interesting.
Wait, you think she's
Who are we
ugly?
talking? Taylor Swift?
Yes.
How is Taylor Swift ugly, Daniel?
Okay. Okay.
This isn't even attractive. This isn't even like a subjective thing. She's not ugly.
Yeah, she's like objectively very attractive, but
I disagree.
and I
Anyway.
talked about well, you're wrong about a great
I don't really care about your opinion, Daniel.
All right,
It's just
fine.
stupid.
yeah, you're wrong about a great thing. Yeah, but and I talked about why my music is free. This has been way longer than 30 seconds, but I feel like this was one of the more personalized episodes, and I feel like I don't know, it kind of just came like flowed really easily, and it was just kind of me talking about random crap for a while. So if you're into that sort of thing, check it out. This was one of the more fun ones for me to make, and there might be some more stuff with Ascribe in the future. I'm working on that. So
You need to really look at your life, Daniel, and what you put forward as something good in the world.
yeah,
And,
he admitted
just
on
reassociate quite a bit of that.
he
not
admitted on air that he thinks Taylor Swift is ugly. I don't know what else that says about him.
Especially after that Super Bowl show that he was talking up back with the whore.
Wait, what?
No, I'm just picking on Katy Perry now. He's talking, but his thing's muted.
Oh, my bad. No, I don't like her anymore.
You don't like what anymore?
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
Oh, because of that music video? Is that
Yeah.
why?
I still haven't
Wow.
even seen the video. All right.
He heard about
We are out of time, so definitely everybody check out the Bitcoin in the Arts first Saturday of every month.
And
Check
vote in
out-
our poll. Do you think Taylor Swift is attractive?
Tweet that.
I really would love to set that up, but I'm not sure I'm going to have time.
Really?
Darn. Well, it's okay. We all know I would win anyway, so don't worry about it. We don't have to put it up.
Yeah, all those
Yeah.
lonely hackers out there.
It's gonna be a bunch of like 500-pound women who feel bad about themselves. They need to tear other people down.
Taylor Swift needs to wear less revealing clothing.
Well, yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. That was a terrible thing for me to say.
I really want
I'm gonna get all these people accusing me of fat shaming.
You
I
are.
really want to.
Reddit's gonna shut me down.
I really want to comment on this stuff, but I can't because I'm in public. So.
You don't have to be that mean about it. You don't have to be like, all fat people should be lined up and shot, and then we should take all their fat and turn it into industrial soap. You can say something like that?
That's word for word. That was what I was going to say.
Okay.
All right. We will catch you next week. I really have no clue when this recording or when tomorrow's show will go out. I have no clue. It may not happen. Just
Thank you for telling us for
even-
the 14th time now.
I didn't even know I was going to be here. So okay.
You know.
All right.
Simmer down.
Uh,
Simmer down.
All of that's at the website youmeandptc.com, and I think we can call it. Anything else? Cool. All right.
Have a good day, everybody.
Indeed. We'll see you soon.